Tom Brady, Jason Momoa, Brad Pitt. Every man wants their status, but even they can't keep a woman because status gets attention, frame and game keep desire. Let's talk about why fame and money mean nothing once she stops feeling your dominance.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. Happy hump day, guys. This episode's either going to turn on a light bulb for you or it's going to trigger you a little bit. You often hear guys say stuff like, well, if Tom Brady couldn't keep Giselle, what chance do I have? Right? Well, that's because a lot of average frustrated chumps out there think women only care about money, looks, and status. Those traits attract women. Sure, there's no dispute about that. But those traits don't keep women interested in the long term. So today we're going to talk about why game and frame are paramount if you expect to maintain a long-term relationship and keep her wanting to invest in that relationship. Right now, one of my Rule Zero brothers, Jack Napier, he posted on X the other day that status beats everything. Status beats game or whatever. And I think that is true. I think he's right if it comes to just spinning plates and dating and getting that initial attraction going. And if you're just hitting it and quitting it, then yeah, absolutely. Absolutely status beats all of that stuff. Okay. But a vast majority of you guys out there aren't looking to just hit it and quit it for the rest of your lives. Like a vast majority of you guys are looking to hit it and continue to hit it both physically and emotionally for a long duration, right? So if that's the goal, then status only goes so far, right? Then in order to maintain that relationship, in order to set the tone and lead that relationship so that she wants to invest and she's obsessed with you for the duration, you need game and frame. Okay. Before we get into that, though, if you are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. So let's get right into this then. So we sort of alluded to this already. Status gets initial attraction, but not devotion. High status men attract women quickly because status signals resources and protection. Okay, what's resources and protection? That's the beta bucks side of hypergamy, right? Getting those resources, that's the beta bucks, right? So they have looks too. See, this is the thing with guys like, Brad Pitt and Jason Momoa, and like those guys have all been through divorces, right? And most recently, Tom Brady. They have looks. They have looks too. Okay, which is very attractive, but looks are superficial. These traits reel women in, but in the long term, without that frame and game, you won't set the tone, you won't lead, you won't enforce boundaries, you won't say no, Giselle. You can't go roll around on the mat with your Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor. Okay, like you won't do that. You'll go, yeah, honey, yeah, go roll around on the mat with that guy. That sounds great, right? Eventually, it leads to a loss of respect, and once they realize they can walk all over you, they end up cheating with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor, right? As in the case of Giselle, that's what happens. Okay, because they're able to manipulate you. You put them on a pedestal. You let them do whatever they want. They walk all over you. And now they're just like, whatever, this guy, I'm going to go bang the exciting Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. That's what happens. If you can't maintain that attractive behavior, Okay. That's why we say in the space, you got to be attractive. Don't be unattractive, right? The be attractive part, Tom Brady's got that, right? He's a handsome dude. He's got status and all that stuff, but don't be unattractive is the demeanor, your behavior, how you're showing up in the relationship. Okay. That's what keeps women in wanting to invest in the long term. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications, would you? I've also been doing, I started this last Thursday. I started doing a vlog style video because I noticed what I was doing on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays was taking 10, 15-minute clips of the long form podcast and just posting it the next day. And YouTube's just not pushing that because I think it's looking at it like, well, that's not really original content. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. So I was like, why don't I do a vlog style where I'm just giving value? I'm not promoting products or anything like that. I'm just giving value. So I started doing that. And I've made 3 of those videos so far. Be sure to subscribe so you guys can check those out. Now, wealth signals capability. Okay. This is why, like, you know, women do like to know that you have a good career going on and you know, that you are making money, but it's not necessarily the money itself they're attracted to. They're attracted to capability, the skills required to acquire resources. They are attracted to that. That's the beta buck side of hypergamy. Okay. But wealth does not signal charisma, right? And charisma is if you want to really know, like Royce's definition of game, it's learned charisma, right? And so you do need a little bit of that charisma to keep that attraction going. Otherwise, she's just like, okay, cool, you got money, but what else you got, right? Money itself doesn't create attraction. The qualities that create wealth, discipline, vision, confidence, those are really what creates attraction. Okay. So a rich man without those traits is just a wallet with anxiety. Right. It's not attractive. It's not attractive behavior. All right. We got a bunch of people in the chat today. Nurse Chick is in the house. Good morning, gentlemen. Happy hump day. Nurse Chick. She's
I'm so naughty.
Hold on.
I'm going to come.
Definitely. All right. And then we got David, brother David's in the house. What's going on, man? I'm good to see you in the morning. Jerry's in the house. Good morning, sir. And number one sin, being boring. Yes. The blog stuff is oh yeah, the vlog. You're talking about the vlog videos. I'm glad you like those. Yeah, and I'm also, if you guys are Spotify guys like David, if you guys if you're ever waiting for me to post an episode on Spotify and then I finally do later in the day, thank David, because David's the one that hounds me about it the most. He's like, Paul, we got to upload the video today or what? Anyway, I've been posting the vlogs on Spotify as well, but those I leave them for premium members only on Spotify. But if you don't want to pay become a member, I get it. You could just watch those on YouTube then. But there's going to be ads. That's the only problem. I don't put ads on them on Spotify. So David sent a $10 super chat. I'm going to give him this one.
Respect the cock and tame the cunt.
That's absolutely right. Dar Fitness is in the house. What's up, man? And Erkin's in the house. What's up, brother? Okay, so women respond to behavioral dominance more than resources. Okay, this is why we talk about a lot in the space, like don't listen to what women say, watch what they respond to. Behavioral dominance is something that women absolutely respond very well to. And it's counterintuitive to everything we've been told in society because, we've been told, equal partnership and she's your equal. And we have all this equality going around, right? But in a intersexual dynamic between men and women, naturally, women respond very well to a guy who sets the tone and leads and has a masculine dominant presence, right? Dominant masculine presence. And so if you're not exhibiting that in your own relationship, she's going to start getting bored in the relationship. She's going to start looking elsewhere. You know what I mean? She's going to start looking for better options. That's just women's hypergamous nature, right? If they're missing something in that relationship, they're going to try to get it somewhere else. Okay, so women are wired to crave the behavioral aspects of high status, leadership, composure, decisiveness, not the trappings of status itself, right? They want you to be more dominant in the relationship. And I can almost guarantee Tom Brady is not a dominant guy in his relationship. He just doesn't seem like, if you ever see him in interactions with people, he doesn't seem like a dominant kind of guy, which is weird because he's such a great quarterback, right? Which means he's a leader of men, right? There's he's probably what I would refer to as a blue-pilled alpha guy, right? He's really good at what he does, football, sports, that sort of thing. But in relationships, he's probably not the alpha kind of guy that sets the tone and leads his relationship, right? By the way, guys, I've mentioned Tom Brady, Jason Momoa, Brad Pitt. Who's another celebrity that on the surface looks like the perfect guy but can't keep a woman? Like, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the replay. I'm thinking, like off the top of my head, I'm thinking Ben Affleck, right? Ben Affleck, I just saw a thing saying that he and J-Lo might be getting back together again. It's like, bro, like, have you not learned your lesson? Just keeps going back to his exes and stuff. Like, just, bro, you need my Forget That Bitch book, dude. Oh, Johnny Depp. Yeah, Johnny Depp. Man, like, I mean, he let Amber Heard take a shit in his bed. Right? Come on. You cannot say you have a dominant masculine presence if you are allowing women to take a dumper in your bed, because one, women don't poop. Okay. Everyone knows that. So how did she even get to that point? Okay. That's just, how did that even happen? Doesn't even make sense. Okay. Fame doesn't grant frame. Right? Even celebrities lose women when they let women's emotional reality replace their own. Right? Frame determines who leads the shared narrative of the relationship. Look at Will Smith. Will Smith, guys. When I was in high school, like, Will Smith was the fucking man. He was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was in Men in Black. He was in the first Independence Day. He was like this action star. He was at Bad Boys, right? And then if you watch his interactions with Jada Pinkett Smith, that bitch walks all over that guy. She cheats on him, right? He's totally like lets her run the relationship. Okay. That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example there, right? Like, he in the movies, he's this tough guy. Or at least he was back in the early days. That he's really gone downhill. And then the stuff with the allegations around Diddy's parties have come out, and it's like, I don't know. It's very questionable. Okay. Frame by itself is not attraction, but it's the container for it. A really great book that I read earlier this year by Gif Lanza, called The Way of Men with Maids. It's I would describe it as a Christian red pill book. I don't think he likes me describing it as a Christian red pill book, because that really wasn't his goal. Although a lot of his influences in the book are very red pill. Like, he's got Athol K references and stuff in his book. So he's a very red pilled guy, but I think he doesn't like the branding of red pill, because it's got a negative connotation. But the way he describes frame in that book, I thought was really well done. And he was talking about it like, think of it like an oyster shell, and your girl is the pearl, right? It feels safe and secure within that oyster shell. Well, that oyster shell is your frame. That's where women feel the most safe and secure, when a guy sets boundaries, he sets the tone, he makes decisions, he's assertive. Like, women are allowed to relax in their feminine and not have to worry about all the weird shit in life, right? Because their man handles that stuff. That's frame. Okay. And a lot of these Hollywood celebrity guys aren't providing that for their girl. And so their girls are like walking all over them and seeking dick elsewhere, right? By the way, a lot of guys in long-term relationships could use some help. with this sort of thing, right? Their wives aren't banging them anymore. Their girlfriends aren't banging them anymore. And it's because they're not setting the tone and leading in a way that gets women interested again. Okay. And that's a lot of what I teach in the Passive Dread Blueprint. It's all about shifting the dynamic of your relationship to where you're higher status. She's looking at you at like her best possible option again and wanting to invest again. Let me play a quick commercial for that since I'm promoting it all month long. She used to watch you, hang on your words, crave your presence. Now, she barely notices when you enter the room. And if she does, it's with eyes full of boredom. You've tried being softer. You've tried being sweeter. You've tried everything they said would work. And still nothing. The truth no one wants to say out loud, she doesn't miss you because there's nothing to miss. But what if you can make her feel the fear of losing you without saying a word? This isn't manipulation. It's psychological contrast. It's healthy anxiety. It's passive dread. Rebuild tension, reignite her curiosity, make her jealous of the life you're living without her at the center. You don't chase desire. You become the man it fears losing. Visit dread.fixdeadbedrooms.com now and take the course. Don't wait for her to act different. Take action for yourself. Yeah, guys, go to dread.fixdeadbedrooms.com for that and use code DREAD20 for 20% off for the rest of October. Now, I'm thinking for tomorrow's vlog, I'm going to really go into depth on this sort of thing. But a thing that a lot of guys don't take into consideration is the concept of hypergamy and how hypergamy is not left at the door when you put a ring on it. Okay. There is no buffer from the sexual marketplace. Hypergamy does not stop at marriage. Okay. Even the most powerful, famous men get replaced when they stop embodying strength, leadership, and emotional security. Women's instinct is survival based. Okay. It's not loyalty based. Okay. If a woman thinks that you're her best possible option, and that's where you're going to get loyalty. If she doesn't think you're her best possible option, women ain't loyal. Okay. They're just not. And I don't care if you have a ring on it. I don't care if you have a marriage contract granted by the state. Okay. If she doesn't feel like you're her best possible option, she's going to be looking elsewhere. All right. There's no buffer. There's no guarantees. And that's really what I think I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, is that there's a lot of guys that, especially trad cons, have this concept of lock that girl down. I better lock this girl down now. Right. I better put a ring on it. I'm not getting any younger. She's not getting any younger. I better lock her down now and take her off the market. She's never fully off the market. She's never fully off the market, even with a ring on it, bro. People cheat. Okay. People step out all the time. People get divorced all the time. We have no fault divorce pretty much in every goddamn state there is. Okay. There's no guarantee anymore, bro. There's no guarantee. You are not actually taking her off the market. The market's still there. And it's what you do and how you show up that determines whether she's going to want to keep investing and stay loyal or not. Sadly, you can't control her. You can't make her do that. All you can do is control yourself and how you show up. Right now, I don't think most of these guys have dealt with this, but this is a problem, right? Loss of status equals a loss of perceived safety for women, right? When a man loses his edge physically, financially, or emotionally, her subconscious sees a threat to survival. That's when attraction decays rapidly. So this is where you'll hear it a lot when guys, lose a job, right? Or they fall victim to some kind of really nasty illness and women end up leaving them. Right. And a lot of this though, I have a hypothesis that has yet to be disproven. Right. But I have a hypothesis on this. Women don't give up on men just because bad things happen. Women give up on men who give up on themselves. So you lose a job And instead of going, I got a game plan, I'm going to, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put out like, resumes everywhere. I'm going to do interviews every single day. Like, this is my game plan to get out of this. Don't worry about it, honey. I got this, right? If you're that kind of guy, she's not going to just leave you because you lost your job, right? But if you're the kind of guy who gets all sad and depressed and you're like, woe is me, the job market sucks. Oh, it's so hard right now. I'm just going to crawl into this bottle and watch, reruns on Netflix instead of actually getting off your ass to do something. Yeah, she's going to leave. She's going to leave because now it's a survival thing. And her evolutionary selfishness is going to kick in and she's going to start looking for better options and she's going to want to get out. Right. So it's when guys give up on themselves. That's my running hypothesis. Okay. I've also heard that there's statistics out there that men leave women when they're at their worst. Like when women fall victim to like a really nasty illness, more like, I guess men statistically leave more than women do. I don't know if that's true or not. You guys can let me know. I don't know if there's a competition of being shitty out there. I don't know if it needs to be a competition of being a shitty person, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Guys, by the way, if you are getting value out of these episodes, do consider sending a super chat. Brother David already sent one. Be like David, support the show a little bit. Now, here's an interesting thing that it was like a slap in the face to me when I first learned about this stuff. But nature abhors a vacuum in a relationship. Nature abhors a vacuum in a relationship. And this is something that Athol K talks about. Dr. Robert Glover talks about this quite a bit. Ryan Stone, in all of his books, he talks about this stuff quite a bit. That the legendary Ryan Stone, the world's greatest red pill couch. I love that man. Anyway, but frame abhors a vacuum. That means basically if you're in a relationship and you are not setting the tone and leading that relationship as a man, as the way nature has put men and women together for eons, if you're not doing that, someone's got to lead the relationship. Like it or not, there's only one remote to the TV. There's only one steering wheel in a car. Okay. Someone's got to drive that car. And if you're not going to step up and drive that car, your wife's going to drive the car and she's not going to like it. She's going to resent you for it because deep down in her heart of hearts, even in this boss bitch world, she doesn't want to drive the car. She wants you to drive the car. Her natural monkey brain, lizard brain, wiring wants you to drive the car, and you are like, no, honey, I'm happy wife, happy life. Yeah, we should go wherever you want to go. Why don't you drive the car, honey? And then she'll do it, and then she'll resent your ass and start losing attraction. Okay, so if you're a celebrity and you're letting your wife run the show, she's going to step out on you. It's the same. It's going to be the same in any relationship. Okay, it doesn't, and money is not going to be a buffer from that. Status and being a Hollywood celebrity is not going to be a buffer for any of that kind of shit. Okay. Another epiphany I had when I was studying this stuff after my relationship with Red Pill Chick, right? Like, I looked back on my marriage and I looked back on my relationship with Red Pill Chick, and I realized that I wasn't keeping game alive. Game keeps attraction alive. This is where you're being funny and flirty and you're sexually escalating and you're doing kino escalation and you're doing fun things and you're taking her out and you're creating this world that only the two of you are in, and you're basically writing a love story for the two of you. Okay? But what do most guys do? They think that they put a ring on it or that they get a girl to agree to be exclusive, and they think, I don't have to do anything anymore. I already got her. That's why guys are like, yeah, I'm going to put a ring on it. That way I don't have to try anymore. I don't have to go on dates anymore. Dates suck, right? And so they stop running game on their girl, and they think, I don't have to try anymore. I already have her. That's not true. Okay. If you want to keep her wanting to invest in you and wanting to be obsessed with your dick and always wanting to like do nice things for you and cook for you and all this kind of stuff, you got to be a charming guy that's always running game on your girl. The work never stops. You always have to game your girl. Okay. Women, here's the thing too. Like if you talk about game with women, like they'll be like, oh, I don't like the games. I don't want the games, right? Like, but games are what keeps the interaction interesting. Games are supposed to be fun, right? That's why it's called game. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. A lot of you guys are like, I'm tired of the games, the bullshit. She should just fucking love me while I sit here on the couch drinking beer, watching sports, right? Like, no, that's not how attraction works, right? You have to be acting in an attractive way. That means being, bantering, teasing, being playful, taking her to do fun shit, right? Like that is what keeps that attraction alive, right? And then the frame makes her feel safe and secure under your leadership. Like those are the two things that keep the long term going. Okay. The Dread Blueprint, it's all about running game on your girl and making it a part of who you are. It's about, this is what you do naturally, right? You're naturally a guy that's not only sets the tone and leads the relationship, but you are an attractive guy. You're still using pre-selection and stuff to your advantage. You're using all the shit that we talk about when it comes to dating and stuff. You're still applying that in your long-term relationship to keep that spark going. Okay. If you stop doing that, I don't care if you're Tom Brady. I don't care if you're fucking Jason Momoa. If you stop doing that shit in your relationship, it's going to fizzle out. Okay. By the way, we have a bunch of guys that not only are working on this currently, but they've really mastered it. Like we've got some guys, and some of them are in the chat right now. I think like Brother Kamal's in there, Brother Nathan, a bunch of the guys, Brother David. All these guys have been studying this stuff and implementing this stuff and practicing this stuff for fucking years now. And if you join the Wolfpack, you can swap notes with them. If you want to get into a group of guys that not only have been where you've been, but have come out better on the other side and are now setting the tone and leading their relationships, and you're like, I don't know what to do here. She's not acting right. What do I do here? And you want to swap notes with guys that get it, join the Wolfpack. Okay. Join the Wolfpack. Run with the Wolves.
Beer club? Not anymore.
Wolfpack, you fix what's broken. You lead like a man again. No pity, no therapy. Just fire, just flame. Cold bed, broken home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
Too sweet me for that one, guys. Let's talk about a couple of other things that kill desire. Complacency. I've already talked about that a little bit. Guys think that once they put that ring on it, they don't have to try anymore. That's complacency. Complacency kills. We used to say that in the military. Complacency kills, right? Like, oh, you always got to be training, always got to be on alert. Complacency kills. Well, it works. It's the same thing in your relationship. That complacency kills. Once a man relaxes into comfort, he stops flirting, teasing, maintaining that polarity, that masculine, feminine polarity, attraction just starts dying. And when a woman starts, when she gets in that driver's seat and she starts driving the relationship, she has to get into her masculine for that, because that's a masculine role. And she's going to be in her masculine. It's not going to feel natural to her because that's not her natural state. She naturally wants to relax into her feminine nature. But you you're not letting her do that because happy wife, happy life, right? So even self-aware men fall into this trap over time. It's just about thinking that you've reached some kind of mythical finish line. There's no finish line. There's never a finish line. Even if you put a ring on it, which is a bad idea. That's for another video. Like even if you put a ring on it, that's not a finish line. A lot of guys online, they naturally assume that marriage is the end state for everybody. You know, this is why like black pill guys and MGTOW guys won't even talk to women. I see these guys online all the time. They're like, oh, well, I don't want to talk to women because I don't want to get divorced, raped, and I don't want to get, taken to the cleaners and the family court and da-da-da. And I'm like, if you're just dating chicks, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Like, why do you immediately assume marriage? They're like, well, isn't that the end state? Why does it have to be? In fact, it's a bad deal for men. I would agree with you. Like, don't avoid doing that stuff, but there's no reason to not go out and have long-term relationships and maybe live in separate houses. Isn't that weird? Is that a weird thought? Like, that's Nurse Chick and I, we don't live together. She has her house. I have my house. She stays with me every other week, but every other week she goes back home. It's great. I fucking love it. Like I don't know why people would want to move people in. That just sounds terrible to me. I don't know. Okay. Oh, another thing that kills that attraction is validation seeking behavior, right? A guy that's always checking in with his wife. Hey, honey, I just want to see if you're happy or not, right? Are you happy in this relationship? Do I make you happy? That's validation seeking behavior. If let's say you go do chores around the house and you walk up to her and you're like, hey, I just want you to know I did chores. I almost lost my shit yesterday on X. There's this fucking Christian account that keeps putting these videos out for guys on like how to deal with dead bedrooms, how to deal with rejection in their marriage, right? The one yesterday was how to turn on your wife. And it's all blue pilled bullshit that does nothing. That does nothing to fix those situations, right? So they did 2 of them on handling rejection. And it was basically, they were advocating that the guy go to his wife and basically like tell her your feelings about it, right? And it's like, women don't give a shit. You're going to try to guilt them into fucking you. Like, that's not what makes women want to fuck you. Okay. So you can't go and complain to her about how you feel about it because she's just going to take it as whining and complaining. That doesn't work. And then the thing they were talking about yesterday, how to turn on your wife. And the guy walks up behind her and he's like, I just did the dishes and I dried them. Like, that's validation seeking behavior. That also dries up a vagina. Right. That's covert contract validation seeking behavior. It's absolutely going to dry up a vagina. Okay. So if you're doing any of that kind of shit in your relationship, you're not going to inspire a woman to want to keep you. I'm trying to be careful of my words here because a lot of this is guys wanting to keep their wives, right? Keep their girls invested. The thing is that you could do everything right and she still might leave because of this thing called Breifeld's Law. Breifeld's Law is this, what is the guy was studying animals, the animal kingdom. And he said that in all animal species, the female, not the male, determines whether a relationship's going to take place or not based on the value that she gets out of that relationship. Right? If she doesn't get any value out of that relationship, the relationship's not going to take place. So that's all on the female. So that means that relationships are a woman's job. So it's her job to want to keep you, but it's your job to be a man worth keeping. And that's the rub, right? You have a burden of performance to be the kind of guy that's worthy of being kept. Right. And a part of this is by using women's nature to your advantage, right? Not being the kind of guy that she can control, always being the kind of guy that she needs to lock down, that she needs to feel like she has to lock down. That's where dread comes in. Dread is you keeping this status going of a guy that's not truly locked down. And she's got to keep investing to keep you locked down. And that's how you inspire that. Okay. By using dread in your long-term relationships. Right. Okay. By the way, guys, follow me on social media. I mentioned X already. I've been really going hard on X lately, man. I love that fucking platform. My biggest following is on Facebook. I have 106,000 followers on Facebook right now, but Facebook fucking sucks. They fucking suck. I'm demonetized right now on Facebook. I can't even stream live to Facebook right now. After these episodes go out until the 25th, I have to download them and then manually re-upload them to Facebook just so my Facebook people can see it. It's such a fucking shitty platform. And they're always like finding something wrong to they ding me with. But on X, I can say whatever the fuck I want. And I love it. And if you don't like it, you can block me. Like whatever. Like you have full control. I love what Elon's doing over there. Follow me on X, would you? Okay. Now, this is something interesting that a lot of guys don't realize, but women are drawn to ambition more than achievement, right? So a lot of guys, when they're young, like women can smell ambition like sharks smell blood, right? So this is why if you're the guy that's working at McDonald's, okay, you're working at McDonald's and this week you're mopping floors and your female coworker can see that you're ambitious and next week you're going to be moving to fries because you're like, I'm going to get to fries and then eventually I'm going to get to management and that's where the real money comes in, right? She's going to go, God, this guy's going somewhere and she's going to find that attractive, okay? But what a lot of guys do, they get to a place where they are comfortable, right? I've had a couple of dead bedroom clients, one-on-one clients that were in this position, where they got to a place in their career where they just were happy where they were and they weren't trying to move to the next level. And a part of that was killing their wife's attraction for them, right? One of the guys, his wife surpassed him in her career. She started leveling up and moving forward in her career, and he was still stuck where he was at because he was comfortable there, and she was now making more money than him. Now, a lot of guys, like this is a big reason why people get divorced too. Like when your wife starts making more money than you, a lot of times that will be the end of the relationship. But it's not the money. It's your lack of ambition to try to get to that next level because you got too comfortable. Okay. So if you're a high status guy and you're not going for that next thing, women will also start losing attraction for you for that. Right. Now, if you look at a guy like John Cena, for instance, right? John Cena, he was like number one in wrestling for years, like for fucking years. He's a 17-time world champion now, right? He's in his final run, but basically his career is over in WWE. He's getting too old for it, but he's not lacking ambition. He's trying to get into Hollywood now. He's trying to, Peacemaker sucks. I've watched like maybe a half of Peacemaker. I can't get into it. It's fucking stupid, right? But he's trying to do that stuff. He's in other movies. He's a mover and a shaker. He's moving to his next career. Like The Rock did the same thing. The Rock's career is on shaky ground right now, but I don't think he's the kind of guy that has so much drive and ambition that he's going to keep moving forward, right? Emotional control beats emotional intensity. So here's the thing about frame. Frame means regulating emotion, right? It means having a little bit of emotional control and being a little more strategic with your emotions and not letting your emotions control you. The way that people are able to manipulate you is through your emotions mostly. That's how selling works, right? Sales gets you to make an emotional impulse decision and then you rationalize it later. That's how almost all sales are done. Okay. Well, the same thing happens in a relationship. If your wife can get you up in your feelings and get you angry and stuff, this is why women test you and push your buttons and really prod at you to see if they can get you to lose your shit. Once you lose your shit, she realizes, I got you and I can manipulate you now. And then you failed that test. Right. This is why I always say, don't climb on your girl's emotional roller coaster and frame is paramount. And you got to learn some emotional control and stuff like that. Right. Because if you can control your emotions better, she's not going to be able to manipulate you, and she's going to love that. She's actually going to love that she can't win. Like, women don't want to win, right? They don't. They will test you, and then when you say no, and when you put them in their place, and and all that kind of stuff, they love it. They love it because they're like, I can't get my way with this guy, and I fucking love it. It makes them feel safe and secure. It means if I can't push him around, that means the world can't push him around. To her, that's what it means to her. Okay, so if you've got to learn that, and I guarantee a lot of these high status dudes have never learned any of that kind of shit. A lot of them haven't, right? By the way, if you guys want help working on any of this stuff, you can book a call with me. Go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com. I've mentioned working with a lot of guys working through this kind of stuff, and some of the stuff that we've worked on. If any of that stuff resonates with you, like, yeah, I'm dealing with that, book a call. I'm looking at my notes here and what I wrote, and then when I read my notes back, sometimes I'm like, what was I trying to say there? Oh, okay. Let's see here. Oh, a man with frame but no internal. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, let's just skip. Let's skip that one. Oh, this is important. High status men still get tested. They still get tested. All women test men, either consciously or subconsciously. You can't avoid it, so you might as well learn how to handle it, right? And a lot of guys get pissed when I say that. They'll say, well, if a girl tests me, she's playing games, and fuck her, she's out. Okay, I mean, you can dump her, but the next girl's going to do it too. The next girl, like, all women do this shit. They do it on some level. Some test more than others. Some do it. I've had women consciously come up with tests for men. I've seen it on X. I've seen women say, I want to put a guy in this position to see that's a fucking shit test. One time before I learned about shit tests, I was on dating apps, and I matched with this one chick, and I guess her ex-husband had a bad temper, right? And she was telling me this stuff on the dating app. This was also before I learned to cut the shit and banter no more than 10 messages, and then find a segue to set that date. And so I was chatting with this chick for a long time, and one of the things that she said was, I'm really thinking about putting men in a certain position to see how they react to it, so that I don't end up with a guy like my. That's a fucking shit test, right? That's a conscious test that women do. Like, women do that kind of stuff. They're like, I want to see how he reacts in this situation. Shit test, okay? But some women do it subconsciously, right? They'll just blurt something out, and how you handle it determines whether it was a test or not, right? So if you get in your emotions and you yell at her and put her on blast and fucking hold her accountable and check that shit and fucking call her out or whatever you guys think you're doing, you failed. You failed her test, because she's gotten you into your emotions, and now she's like, yep, that's what I thought. Right? But if you agree and amplify, you act indifferent, you turn around to playful teasing and banter, then you've passed, because you're not taking her so goddamn seriously. And that's really what it comes down to. So even the highest of status guys are going to get tested, and most of those guys don't even realize they're being tested, and so they're failing, right? Masculine presence outlasts material success. Money, looks, and fame fade, but masculine energy, conviction, certainty, and unshakable frame keeps a woman emotionally invested for the long term. Okay. So those are the kind of skills you really need to develop. We talk about in the space, money, muscles, game, and frame, right? Money, muscles, game, and frame. And a lot of guys, their focus is on that money. Got to get that money, but you got to understand that money doesn't keep women around. It at best, it attracts gold diggers. So your money is not going to keep women around. It's just not. Right. And then looks only go so far, and eventually your looks fade. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, look at me. I mean, I'm a fucking Adonis, right? But that's not going to last forever, guys. Okay. I get so much hate online because I'm an older guy. Like, I get so much fucking hate for it. I think it's funny now, but That kind of stuff fades over time, okay? But your dominant masculine presence doesn't fade, right? If you don't let it, if you always stay on top of it, but the work never stops. And that's the thing. All of this stuff will fade if you don't work on it, right? But there's only certain things we can control. We can't control our aging process, right? We can't control that. We can control our money to some extent, but the way I like to look at money for guys is it's for you, right? You need to work on money for yourself so that, you know, when the economy sucks or whatever guys complain about because of, you know, money situation stuff, it's like, if you get your money in order, like you have less stress. It's just, that's for you. It's not necessarily for her. You know what I mean? But the game and frame and maintaining that and always working on that and always be trying to be the best version of yourself and all that kind of stuff, that can keep things going for a long time. That's your best possible chance of keeping a long-term relationship intact for the long term, right? All right, guys. That's all I got. I hope you guys got some value out of that. What are the guys saying in the chat now here? Let's see. Erkin, I'm swapping notes with them in the chat. Okay. Erkin's always like, you know, I would totally join Wolfpack except for I don't want to, right? That's always his comment. Oh, I would totally do that but I don't want to. I'm like, okay, then fucking don't. Okay. Okay. All right. You know, only the cool kids do Wolfpack. So if you don't want to be a cool kid, that's fine. I can't make you guys want to be cool kids. Yeah. Too sweet, brother. Too sweet. Hell yeah. All right, guys, that's all I got for this episode. Tune into the podcast on Friday. We're going to talk about how to develop more of a dark triad mental frame. That should be fun because women are drawn to men with dark triad traits. And if you're unfamiliar with those traits, they're narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Or psychopathy, however you want to pronounce it. Women are drawn to that shit. Right? Whether you like it or not. And it makes nice guys fucking mad. They're like, why do girls go for these bad boys and stuff like that? It's because they have these traits that women are drawn to, because these traits make women feel like you're going to take on the world. You know what I mean? And it's just very attractive to them. So we're going to talk about how to develop some of that stuff on Friday. That should be a fun episode. It should piss off a lot of fucking nice guys. If you guys haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Other than that, we'll see you on Friday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.